Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Old Time Rock and Roll. I'm your host, David Tear, and I feature a different rock and roll artist every day whose birthday it is today. Today's October 18th, 2023, and today happens to be the birthday of a true rock and roll legend, one of the pioneers of rock and roll. I'm sure most of you have heard of him. His name was Chuck Berry, and he was born on this day in 1926, and he died just a few years ago at age 90 in 2017. Anyway, he's a very well-known rock and roll musician. Like I said, he was one of the pioneers of rock and roll. He had several big hits. Here's 20 of them listed on this album. I don't know if you can see them all, but some of his hits included, I guess, his first big hit was Maybelline in 1955. In 1956, he had Roll Over Beethoven, and 57, I think he had Rock and Roll Music. 58, he had Sweet Little 16, and one of his best known songs, Johnny Be Good. Um, anyway, he was an amazing artist, and he was covered by a lot of other artists, including the Beatles and the Beach Boys. He was very influential, and one of the things that was very famous about him was his duck walk. I think you can see it here. He used the duck walk as a way to integrate audiences because he was trying to bring the white audience and the black people together in the audience, and he did it by walking across I guess, the aisles where they usually would have blacks on one side and whites on the other side. And he was trying to encourage them to mingle with each other, which they did. And anyway, so he was known for that as well. And strangely enough, this is a really odd coincidence, I think. He didn't have any number one songs except for one. And you'd be really surprised what was his only number one song. It turned out it was this novelty song he came up with in 1972 called My Dingaling. And it kind of a silly song. I mean, obviously, he had many more, much more well known songs and much better songs, in my opinion, than My Dingaling. And I just think it's kind of funny that that was his only number one song. But anyway, like I said, Johnny Be Good is probably his most well-known song, and it was played in this excellent movie. I'm sure most of you seen this movie called Back to the Future, sci-fi classic from 1985, starring Michael J. Fox as Marty McFly, a teenager who ends up going back in time from 1985 to 1955. And towards the end of the movie, he ends up playing at a high school dance. He plays Johnny Be Good, which hadn't been written yet. But the kids love it until he goes a little crazy on stage. He starts doing like Jimi Hendrix and The Who. He smashes the speaker, and then they're like, what the hell? But it's a classic movie. And if you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. Another funny scene in the movie, the guy to his right was supposed to be the leader of the band he was playing with. And he happened to be Chuck Berry's cousin in the movie, Marvin Berry. And there's a great scene where he goes to call him up on the phone. He says, "Hey, Chuck, you wouldn't believe this. This is the sound you're looking for. Listen to this." And I guess the point they were trying to make in that movie was that that was what inspired Chuck Berry, hearing Michael J. Fox playing and Marty McFly playing it on stage. So anyway, it's a great movie, and Chuck Berry was an amazing rock and roll artist, one of the best in my opinion, certainly one of the most influential. And anyway, that's my profile on him. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.